Never said he was.
There is a place where no one is seen as a stranger, where no one is ever faced with danger. A place that is gentle, kind and light, where nothing would ever trigger a fight. A place that is boundless and wide, where we walk with angels side by side. A place of smiles and happy tears, where all hearts are open and there are no more fears. A place where love is seen on every face and arms are open wide to embrace. A place where everyone measures the same, where you are true though, and yet no one knows your name. A place where mysteries are explored, where truth is accepted and never ignored. A place where those of old age are wide-eyed and still learning, where time seems to rewind and to youth we are returning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
To you. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to you. And welcome to another session with myself and my husband. We are the Sawyers. And we welcome you to come and just go to a heart-to-heart with us. Just another heart-to-heart with us this morning. And we hope you had a good night's sleep. I didn't. Did you have a good night's sleep?
I slept all day and still didn't get. Once in a while I did.
Oh, my head. This mind talked all night. It did.
Mm.
The conversation was going on all night long. You had that happen the night before, didn't
Mhm.
you?
Who on here with us today?
Being molested by the mind. There's my sissy and my brother-in-law. Hey, y'all. There's Kathy. Hey, Kathy. And then there's Dee Dee. Hey, Dee Dee, and George and Jamal and all of the rest of y'all over there. And then there's Sandra. Sandra, good morning to you, sweetie
Good
pie.
morning.
Vern's here. Bernie
Good morning,
Bern.
Brenda Lee.
And then there's Noel. Hey, Noel.
Noel.
Good morning.
Noel,
Sylvia's here this morning.
Noel.
Good morning, Sylvie. Good morning, Sylvie. Oh, my goodness. It's good to have you guys with us. And all the rest of you who haven't typed anything in, we know you're out there. Welcome to another session with us. And you got something good today.
Mhm.
You do. I'm interested in knowing what it is. They've changed so many things on the StreamYard that I don't know what I'm looking for here. I think I'm looking for this. Let's see here. Let's see, where am I going? Where am I going with this? I want to look at this for a moment. Dad and I were talking. I call him Dad right now. My honey bun.
I know.
We had an anniversary this week, didn't we?
Sure did.
Sure did.
All
Friday.
day long.
56 years. 56.
56. And I've
56.
been 56. I've been preaching my what, 57.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning, Jacqueline.
Not
Hey,
58.
Jill. And yeah, so we didn't do anything, no, did we? We just kind of hung around the house and hugged a lot. And
Slept.
yeah, we did go to the store. Thank you, Sissy, for letting me know that you can hear us. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Sister Sharon.
Sister Sharon, thinking a lot about you, baby.
And there's Pearl. Hey, Pearl.
Thinking a lot about you and your mom, Miss Essie.
Yeah, I had her on my mind too. But yeah, we had an anniversary, and we just were talking just before going live. Let me take this down for a second. We were talking about the truth that we have not stumbled across, but have come into in our latter years here at the twilight of our lives, and wondering why we have found ourselves in this place of almost resistance, not resistance against God or anything like that, but resistance against the establishment and against the colonization, I'll say.
Yeah.
And because we're in our we're 70, almost 80 now. It seems odd that it would be at this time of our lives that we would be in a position of bringing information of truth to people that is very controversial.
Mhm. Mhm.
Very controversial. But I think that because of the things that are happening, more specifically in our government and in our country, it's bringing some things to the forefront,
Mhm.
and it is making us take a deeper look into things, into how we have been conditioned,
Mhm.
and that conditioning. I kind of wrote down some things about how conditioning happening. I talked about it a little bit in one of the previous sessions we had. How that the slaves that were brought over, those blacks that were brought over uh, into America from their country, actually were they were conditioned in the sense that they called it seasoning. Then they had to condition those people who were taken from their country, people of color, taken from their country, brought into this environment,
Mhm.
which was a totally different environment from what they were used to. There was a period of adjustment that they had to go through in order to be able to just survive in
Mhm.
this environment. And it required that the slave owners do certain things to them in order to bring them into a place of compliance, into a place of where they can adapt to things, and they would begin to be more less resistant.
Mhm.
So and I realize now that happened to all of us when we were born into families,
That's right.
because those families had things going on, and when we entered into those families, we had to come under whatever environment they were in, and they had already established. So we had to adapt to it, and uh, there was a period of adjustment with how we were going to interact with our parents, how we're going to interact with our family, and
Mhm.
and some of the things that you and I talked about. You went through some pretty rough stuff
Mm.
as a child.
Sure did.
So
Wasn't as bad as the worst, but it was, for my case, it
yeah,
was
it was
worse.
pretty rough. And well, I think all of us, if we go back, we'd say some of the things that we went through were rough, but some more so than others. So there was a need to comply. There was a need to adapt. You had to learn the language of your family,
Mhm.
the expectations of your family, uh, the
And that started in the womb.
and the diet that your family ate is what you become familiar with, and you kind of carry that forward. If unless you break out of it, you carry that forward. The living conditions, you tend to you become familiar with those kinds of conditions, and you kind of set that up for yourself as well. I mean, it's the conditioning is very, very deep, isn't
Mhm.
it? It's thick, and so what we're realizing now is that we've been conditioned in so many areas. We were conditioned to live in our families. We were conditioned to live in our neighborhood. We were conditioned to live in our city. We were conditioned to live in this country. We were conditioned to be acceptable in schools. We were conditioned for church. We were conditioned in religion. We were conditioned in our race. We were conditioned in so many things.
Mhm.
That rabbit hole is deep,
Mhm.
and it's and coming up out of that deep uh, abyss, I should say.
Yeah, it's the dark side.
Yeah, it's what's happening to us now. We're coming up out of that abyss.
Mm.
Um,
Well, this never would have come up as a subject.
yeah, Jill says even in correction, slave owners didn't beat or spank their children.
No.
And when I talk about resistance, I just ran across just yesterday, and some of you guys know more about this than I do, I'm pretty sure. There was one black woman who worked in the slave owner's house, and she was what they call the house ninja. And so she had to serve them. She ended up poisoning the whole family. That was her resistance. That was her way of escaping.
Mm-hmm.
It was the only way she could get away from the controllers. And Diakola says, she said, I was introduced to the word deconditioning concerning Black people last week, and it deeply resonated with me. We hear a lot of talk about deconstructing religion, and I believe the two are related. They are. They are, sweetheart. Exactly. And Jill says that Olivia's LLC is about undoing the conditionings passed down from slavery. And the slavery, Jill, is not just it's not just related to the Blacks. The slavery is in every area of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pulling up out of that abyss, that deep, dark hole where we've been colonized and conditioned, is difficult. But it's not difficult in the sense of hard to do. It's difficult to face the, what's the word I'm looking for? The treacherousness of the controllers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're seeing happen. We're seeing the treachery of the controllers.
When one began to investigate, let me go back and start over again. When I picked up the book, The Course in Miracles, my mind was set on evangelistic
The word
preaching,
miracles.
miracles.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, wow, I got a book
Mm-hmm.
that's going to tell me how to work the works of God and the miracles of healing, which that was mainly what I was into before I woke up. And then when I got into it, I looked at the book and it never said anything about physical healing. So as I went on and investigated, I had different people to come to my house who were teaching the course. We sat down and we saw things and we heard things. Then all of a sudden they dropped off because what I was talking about was something that was not in the Course in Miracles. But if it was covered up.
And you didn't know it was because you never studied it.
I never studied it.
Not in
detail.
right.
Mm-hmm. Then after I found out in my studies, over 50 years of investigating into it, I found out how Jesus did the miracles that he did. And I began to practice it, and I saw some of the very results of what he did and the way he went about it. But in learning this, I began to find out how to teach people in our church how to do the same thing. But because they was infested with conditioning, I gave them all in the church, all over the church. I gave them license, which was not supposed to come unless you sit before a board, and then you had to come out and preach to determine whether you are ready to be sent. The first thing I found out is that Jesus called the disciples to him. Then after he called them, he let them practice what they were called to do. And he taught them how to do those things. But the King James Version never did tell us that some of the people, some of the disciples were black people, dark-skinned people, even including himself.
Yeah, exactly. So the truth has been covered up for so many years.
And that's not being prejudiced. It's just telling you the way it was,
Mm-hmm.
the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So as I began to investigate into it, I saw some of the same people do that. But after they left us and went out to different churches, because of the ego and the conditioned mind, they abused it. And a lot of the pastors used to call me and ask me, said, this person came to us and they said they from your business or your ministry. I said, yeah. And then they began to tell me what they did that was not in line with the house condition of the church. I all of a sudden said to them, I don't know them because I never did teach them to go against these churches and pastors. But I didn't know that eventually waking up to the Christ identity will automatically ostracize you,
Ostracize.
ostracize or astral project you away from the religion and from the churchology,
Yeah.
simply because what changes you. Now, let me say this to you all. What changes you is not studying the Bible.
Mhm.
What changes you is not trying to stop the flesh or the mind from thinking bad thoughts or morbid thoughts, murder, suicide, and all that stuff.
Well, why?
What changes you is what was already in the lower, let's say the higher part, but in the depths of your essence is the spirit of the true self, which is the Christ awareness.
Mhm.
You cannot change the stripes on a leopard back. By you can paint it, you can color it, but those stripes are still there. What I found out that all the fasting and praying that we did not make a change. I even prayed in tongues and in the spirit for hours at a time. It began to make changes, and the changes that it made was in order to do that 6 to 12 hours a day, I had to stay in this place under discipline. The mind went crazy. Sometimes I was able to battle it through and stay in there, and other days I didn't. What I found out in this is that what changes,
Mhm.
excuse me, please, what changes the flesh or cause it to come into alignment with the Christ self is the Christ self itself. The Bible says this, and this is true. If
Mhm.
you through the Spirit, that means if you through your true identity mortify, the definition of mortification or mortifying is the mortuary, freezing it. Only Spirit, the Christ self, can freeze these bricks as the mortar in between each brick. It freezes the rock or the brick in place. If the spirit of the Christ self does not break these patterns of the conditioned self, there is no hope. But let me share this with you. These problems that we've had with the monkey mind will always be there. They will never leave, but they will be subject to the control of the eternal spirit. That's the only way you can stop it. You
Yes.
cannot stop it with a bus. You can kill the body, but the spirit still exists on. And it has to take the eternal spirit to stop bad habits.
Yeah. Well,
Now, you can't get older and some of them stop, but you still got it there.
yeah. And I think that going back to the conditioning, the depth of conditioning that we've been in or we've had happen to us, um, those conditionings shaped us,
Mhm.
shaped our psyche, I should say, shaped our psyche, and what coming into the understanding and awareness of who you are at the core, at your core essence, removes you from being that one that has been so deeply shaped or
Mhm.
so shaped. I remember the scripture that says he was where David said he was born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And he was not, when he said that, born in sin, the church has taken that and said that every man that comes into this world, every child is born into this world is a sinner.
Yeah.
But David said that after having killed Bathsheba's husband and realizing that the depth of what he had
Done.
what he had done, and he was in a state of depression and remorse. And when he said it because he realized how low he had gone. So it was not a theological truth that every man was born sinful. And even the Judaic religion, the Jews, the original Jews, did not have the concept that we were born sinful. They had the concept that we were born and in the image of God. So the Christian religion has taken this out of context and used it to say that every person that's born into this world, that you're not enough, you're not good enough for God, and that you started out contaminated already. And that was not true.
Right.
But it's what has been said for so many centuries till we all believe it.
I was given an opportunity this week to look in the sky and the presence over top of Washington, D.C., the White House.
You had a mystical experience, and it wasn't a good one.
It wasn't a good one. I saw the dark side. And over the years, I've been able to, by grace, see what principality is over every city, even neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot stop these principalities with praying, seeking, knocking, and asking,
Mm-hmm.
and crying, and going to church. You and I, as the eternal self, are at the mercy of the Christ eternal self.
Now we have a couple of good comments, Pastor. I want to address. Robert, hey Robert and Denise, good morning to you, sweetheart. He said it's amazing what we've done to try to fix ourselves, and then we discover we were navigating religious lies, and we're not a dirty sinner, and we don't know what to do with ourselves. That's so true, Robert. So true. And Jacqueline says, she said, I saw a video recently where a guy said that deconstructed Christians are the most Christ-like than Christians themselves. I believe that's because of the freedom to experience God's love. And I do believe that's true, Jacqueline, that you cannot be Christ-like under the confines of religion. And Gary's asking this, hey, Pastor Gary. He said, is that why we are sin conscious?
Okay, that's a good one. Here's sin consciousness. Sin consciousness is not deeds that you do. The sin consciousness is not accepting your true identity as the Christ. Sin consciousness is the sickness of individuality.
Would you say that not only is it not accepting, most of us have not even been aware of that aspect of ourselves that is divine. And yeah, go ahead.
And the results of that separation is the deeds of evil, murder, destruction, and hate, and bad memory, and a monkey mind that constantly talk.
You said something yesterday that just came back to me, and I just want to mention it quickly. Back originally, when there were leaders of nations or countries or tribes, when they were, and what we have presidents and prime ministers and all of that, now they were considered gods.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Every leader was considered God.
Gods, yes.
I saw, as the name of place I saw this morning online, where there was a nation outside of Egypt and all of them that was strictly black people that was pharaohs. The original pharaohs were not the ones that we seen on television.
No, they weren't fair skinned.
They were dark people, and they have found through archaeological discoveries the actual truth behind this. I'm not speaking this to say that black or white is better than the other. I'm just telling you what
Right.
has been covered up.
It's just been covered up. Can I say this? I
Mhm.
wrote this down so many years ago, but the core of Jesus' teaching was not his divinity, but ours.
Yeah, right, right.
It was our divinity that Jesus came to show us, if the story is true, if the narrative is true. What Jesus kept saying what he does, we can do. He also raised the standard for every individual. And he found the Christ within himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what we must do,
Mhm.
find the Christ
That's what
within
happened in the
ourselves.
missing years between the Old Testament and the New. That was a space of 30 years, or
Mhm,
however it
mhm,
was,
mhm.
where he was out to discover the truth behind who he really was,
Yeah.
even though he was born of a virgin and all that stuff, but he had to go further into it.
Mhm.
So that's the reason why Jesus had so much ability to function in society during those 3 years or three and a half, whatever you want to call it. But he stayed there long enough to where he could get, let's say it like this. He stayed in that long enough to understand how to allow his God identity, Christ self, to control all of the instincts that most people had trouble overcoming.
I remember Carlton
Well,
Pearson, who
hello.
the church persecuted so severely
He was.
for
He really
his
was.
views.
Oh, my darling.
He wrote a book that Jesus was not a Christian.
Yeah,
And you said this
he was the
morning, while we're
Christ.
standing in the church, I mean in
Mhm.
the kitchen,
Mhm.
in the kitchen, you said, "Stop being a Christian and be Christ."
That's right.
Type that in. Stop being a Christian and be Christ.
Now, the being of Christ, listen to this, please, has always been us. It has never stopped because we were going through the birth canal and come out. Do you know when we were inside of our mother and she's giving birth, we were still outside and inside.
Yes, yes. Now we have a couple of other things that I want to address. Pastor and I have to say again, Pastor and I don't collaborate. We don't know what we're going to talk about before we sit here in front of you, and it isn't rehearsed. So it may come a little sporadic and it may come fragmented at times what we're trying to say and what we're saying, but it's coming from where we are in our lives. And so we thank you for listening to us in that regard. Now, uh, thank you, Sandra. They're typing in what I said. Thank you, sweetheart. Listen, this is what Kathy said. She said, Jill, before Kathy wrote this, Jill said that. She said, a resident of DC said the atmosphere has changed in DC and is darker.
It is.
And then Kathy says, please share, Pastor, your what you saw happening in Washington,
Okay.
if you can. If you
It,
can.
it breaks my heart to tell you
It's
this.
difficult because he was very moved and it disturbed him when he went through it, to the point that yesterday wasn't a very good day for you. But go ahead if you
In the
can.
feeling world. By the grace of seeing, I know now what it is that's causing our government to hurt people and to destroy the lives of people and jobs.
And I don't know if we're going to get in trouble by saying all
Yeah,
of
I'm
this
going to say it.
online. They may block us, so
I'm
we,
going
we
to
don't
say it to
know.
you the way it was. I saw this, I was in it. But the way I experienced this week was, first of all, I didn't want to say because I know how you look at things. I saw trucks pull up to my house and they serve a warrant saying that everything in my house was repossessed. I lost everything in this experience. I saw them take it away. They took away things out of the house that was paid for, that belonged to us, that did not belong to them. They took everything. Then all of a sudden it switched over to Gaza and Israel and all the people in that little small section of
For that
land.
25-mile foot stretch
25
that
miles
Israel
stretch.
is so bent on having.
And I just saw last night children are dying. And the daddies are screaming and hollering, holding them in their arms. Then I went back and I looked again at the principality ruling spirit over top of Washington, D.C. And over Washington, D.C., I saw down inside the White House all of the Republicans and the Democrats. These walk-in spirit beings had walked into the physical bodies of these people. Now watch this. It did not remove the Christ self. It was just pushed down inside of them so deep that they could not recognize it. This is what I saw in detail. I also saw our president that was in touch with a principality that was the head over Washington, D.C. This is spirit beings in the dark side. Now, you just mentioned about how dark D.C. was, but I saw it.
It's principalities.
Principalities. And I've had a chance to meet these principalities face to face years ago. And I saw it. I felt that thing inside of our government controlling like the mafia over the whole country.
And let me say this too, Pastor. And I want to use Robert's every man. When you experienced the loss and the taking away of everything that you have and complete disruption of your life in that experience, you were every man that's going through that right now.
That's right. I saw it. I saw these children out on the street. They had nowhere to live. And I kept telling the people who were taking our stuff out of the house, I said, we got nowhere to go. And we are in that position right now where we're asking with the eternal self, which direction can we go to keep our house and to keep things going?
Or to just be in a place of security.
Be in a place of security.
Stability. Yeah.
And I'm saying this to you because it woke me up and I was so dragged with it. But the only thing that brought me through it was when I looked inside of some of my notes and I saw where everything would be okay, but I will need the help of some of you guys or one of you guys.
This is what was said to me today. He said, if you need help, you have to ask for help.
Yeah.
And that I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about from here on out, because there are days coming where we're going to need the help of each other.
That's right.
We're going to need the help of each other. But I also I got insight about this as well. When I spent the better part of one day this week trying to help a neighbor to word something that she wanted to say to her doctor. And it was over an hour or two that I spent with her to try to get it in words that she's comfortable with. And then after all of that, she went home and changed the whole thing. And it came to me, there are times when a person is in a position that needs help, and God sends that one to help. But for whatever reason, the things that are done to help that person is either rejected or doesn't work for them. And if that's the case, that is their karma they must go through.
Okay.
They must go through that. You cannot remove the suffering from every being because they are some of them are in a position where the help has been there and it's not been received, or for whatever reason it did not work.
Now, here's what I'm going to say that's going to be real rough now. I'm taking a chance on this. I saw our president get sick, and he come out the front door of a house, or DC, the White House. And what he had done inside the government, when he come out the front door, he went around to the back. And everything that he has done to hurt people beat him in the butt when he went in the back door. I saw that. He is going to get sick. And in his last days, when this thing over the White House is finished with him, he will go into great depression, and he will be unruly in his feelings, because karma is the recompense for the deeds that you've done before a final stage is culminated. I'm not saying this to go against him or for him. I'm telling you, this is the law that operates in every man. Evil brings evil. Hurt brings hurt.
Yes,
Pain brings
yes,
pain.
yes.
And everybody that he has hurt, with or without respect of his position. I heard a priest at Jimmy Carter's funeral stoop down over the podium and looked our president in the face and told him face to face, Mr. President, have mercy on the people. He did not pay it any attention. And he will not until the final moment come where he is broken.
Again, they may block us.
They may block me for saying this.
And so I just want you to be aware of that.
I need to say this. I am not against him for doing what he's doing to clear up the law and the murder and the drugs. What I'm dealing with is the mixing in,
harming
people that have nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are some people out there that are listening whose mind and have stickers all over their car and in their front yard. They have sold their souls over, and even the Republicans cabinet have given their souls over to the principalities over the city of Washington, D.C., and they can't turn because they are slaves. Now, you have to remember, the White House once upon a time was a different color than what it is now. And the Statue of Liberty was too.
Let me say this, Pastor. The Israel that we see today cannot be God's chosen people. With all of the destruction and harm that's coming, that they're presenting to other people, they cannot be. So I asked the question, why are we in our latter years in the position now of having to say these things?
That's right. Never thought we'd have to say this. But I'm going to say this to you. It will work out. So I'm saying this to say to you, I know what it's like to have a red truck to pull up in my front door, on my garage door, and take away both my cars.
Yeah, we had that happen back in 2012.
Yeah. And at this point, at the state that we in the house that we in, we really do need financial assistance to bring us into the place of stability to where we will not lose our house and everything with it. I am deliberately asking you guys out there, point blank, if you can, help us keep our home. And I'll stop there. Because of what I saw is taking place. I felt what those people felt.
Yeah.
They had no place to go.
We are those people.
We are those people.
We are those people. So this is heavy. This is heavy. This is very heavy.
And it is heavy. And I'm not saying this for somebody to come and say, we heard you online talking against our president. Hey,
And they may do
the
that.
Democrats and everybody else is talking against him. They ain't locked up. They ain't lost their home. So why should I be any
But
different?
everybody's being censored, and that's the
Everybody
truth
just
of it.
censored. This is being
Yeah.
censored.
Yeah, everything's
I
being
understand.
censored. Mhm.
But I must tell you, the ones that's censoring and possibly thinking about removing us from this site, you are also under the power of a principality because we haven't said anything different than what our Democrats and others have said.
You realize the algorithm has already determined this kind of language will automatically take you out.
Right, right.
Now, Robert said the White House is the big house on this pitiful plantation,
Yeah.
and the time has come for us to see what we have ignored for so long. Every man doesn't look the other way.
You know, you answered something for me. Let me say this right quick. The White House was the central building for the plantation,
It's built like a plantation house.
for the plantation
Yeah.
slave owners.
Yeah.
Whenever there was a need for increase of work help, they would take the women and line them up and strap them down, and the light-skinned people, I say it like that, would come in and have sex with these slave ladies
Or
to
they
give
or they
birth,
pull the studs from the black
or they
men.
pull the studs from the black to do this.
Mhm.
This is what we find out. And I'm not going to pound on this. All I'm asking you with all of this is to hear what I'm saying. Whether you agree with it or not, it's okay.
Well, and what we're talking about, and I'm not softening it, I'm just bringing it back around as to why this is important. Deconstruction takes place in a lot of areas. It takes place in your cultural beliefs. It takes place in your religious beliefs, in your familial, your family beliefs. It takes place in a lot of your aspects of your life. There was a man, and I was reading about it before we went live. In 1600, Giordano Bruno was condemned by the Inquisition and executed in Rome by monks of the Brotherhood of St. John the Beheaded. He was burned for his views. They called him a heretic. This is what his views were. He had the view that a human soul could return to earth in a new body after death and could move on to inhabit an infinite number of worlds besides the earth. His other view was man can become one with God during his soul's journey on the earth. And the last view was one does not have to wait until the end of the world for the divine union to take place. Now, he was burned for these views, but it was because he took away man's link to his relationship with the church, which was trying to control them, the masses, and gave him the right to have a relationship with God that had nothing to do with the church. Your relationship with God has nothing to do with the church. It has nothing to do with any sacred text, the Bible, Course in Miracles, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, any of the other sacred texts. And there are so many sacred texts that we are being bombarded from the outside as to what we're going to believe about our God and ourselves. And lately, I found myself not wanting any input, but I want the knowing to come from an intuitive place inside of me. I am determined to be the Christ and not just be an allegiance to a particular book or a particular sect of religion or a particular group of spiritual advanced enlightened beings. I want to be the Christ and the Christ only.
Okay. God is the very self of all of us.
Yeah.
You have to separate conscious and unconscious. You have to get to the place where you can see that there's a part of you that will not change just because you go to church and preach and you hold a
Or
position
because you study a book
or you
and you
study a
make
book.
affirmations and you pray, uh, or you
You,
meditate, it doesn't.
we are at the mercy of the mother lode, the gold that comes from the deep recesses of the mountain that flows downstream. I found out the word eternal spirit is inside of the body that we are in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And there's no dying self, as the eternal says. The spirit body, the spirit self, is the real us. And that's the part of us that came from God. All of our spirit self came from the inside of God.
Yes, yes.
Near death experiences showed me all of this. There were some that were real and some that was fake, but I saw the truth by having the experience of out of body. See, there's an out of body travel that you can go through, and then there's an inner body travel that you can go through. I found that out. You can be inside the body and never leave it, and yet be in that world. I've experienced both of them. We are just like God, eternal in our eternal essence, and can never die. And the key to all of this is that every man, every woman outside the body is just like him. But here's the key. Because you're in eternal does not mean that you can't go to a different place other than what we call the heavenly place. So this is the reason why you must find the kingdom of God inside of you before your body
Mhm, mhm,
is separated
mhm.
from the real you.
Yes.
If
Jesus said, "You are the light of the world."
yeah,
In John 1 and 9, it says that this is the light that light was lighting every man. And in Jesus was one who brought that truth to us. Lao Tzu, however, the one that did the Tao,
mhm,
brought that truth to us. Confucius brought that truth to us. Zoroaster brought that truth to us. Buddha brought that truth to us. Plato brought that truth to us. Emerson brought that truth to us. Me and you brought that truth to us. A lot of beings have brought that truth to us, that the Christ is right here where we are and is what we are, and that is the light of the world.
one of the most amazing things I've experienced in waking up to my Christ self is that when I'm talking to people, I don't care who they are, what they are, and the meanness and the driving and all that, I still am aware, and it can be stronger too. Jesus got to be so aware of his God identity, Christ, that he could live amongst men in the worst position and the worst state and never lose that sight. But he said one thing, if it is true in the book, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? What happened to him then on the cross was he experienced what it was like to
What you
not
experienced in that.
in that experience of Washington,
Yes,
D.C. and
yeah.
our government.
Mhm.
Jesus lost sight of being the eternal self.
Yeah, and experienced what every man and every
Every
woman and
man had to
child
go
has
through.
experienced.
But what came out of the grave, what came out of the tomb, was the Christ self
Yeah, yeah,
overpowering the
yeah.
finite monkey mind self. And that's the
Mhm,
only way
mm,
you can get free
mm.
from the grave. I heard a preacher say, Bishop
Yeah,
McKinney said, they'll never throw dirt
dirt
in
in my
my
face.
face.
He said
I'll
that.
never be buried. Do you know that many people at the funerals and in the grave are standing amongst the people, watching them crying, and they can't hear the departed spirit saying to them, I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
Mhm,
I'm still here.
mhm, mhm,
I've
mhm.
experienced that, y'all. I've experienced it and I didn't ask for it. It was part of the grace of destiny for me to experience this. And I'm not telling you something to make you go against our president or our
No,
government.
no.
I'm telling you what's going to happen to him in the end of this thing. And he will suffer severely the pain of all that he has afflicted.
Well, what you're saying is that any of us that harm others,
Anybody.
that's what's coming to us.
Do unto others
As
what you would have
them
done
do
unto
to
you.
Mhm.
Love your brother. You can't love anybody, anything without the love of Christ.
You made me just remember. There's the gentleman that just passed. Is his name Frank DiCaprio, the
Yeah, the
judge
judge.
that just recently passed. He was so merciful.
He
and,
was. He really was.
with people when he was being a judge. He helped people. He
That
really
was
helped
Christ.
people.
That was the Christ self.
And they had his funeral this week, and it was so unusual because he preached his own funeral.
Mm.
They had an actual recording of him speaking to the people,
Mm-hmm.
and it was and the last thing he said was to help one another.
The help was.
To help one another.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the Christ self. I look at these people. You do it unto yourself. That's right, honey.
And so Mama Chris says Jesus experienced the side effects of life and overcame it through the cross.
The Christ self is not a special group of people.
Mm-hmm.
It is everybody on this universe. But it is so deep. I remember the morning 50 some years ago when I experienced what we call the Holy Spirit, which I didn't find out till years later, that the Holy Spirit was my holy self, my real holy self inside of all this junk, inside of all this DO, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I heard the night deep down in the wells of salvation that salvation is in every man, but they don't know it. I heard the voice of the eternal essence say, I love you, Jesus. Every night when I prayed before I went to bed, the Lord's Prayer, I laid my head down and I heard the voice said, I love you, Holy Spirit. I love you, Jesus. It took years up to this point for me to find out who was this voice? Who was this still voice that was speaking to the mind and telling it that it was the love of the Christ, the Jesus self?
Mm-hmm.
Now I know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's not. That doesn't mean that I don't have that my body and mind don't have the same reactions to
Mm-hmm.
impatience,
Mm-hmm.
nervousness, sickness, and all that. But it does mean. I would say this to you. I'm going to stop right here and turn right quick. Leslie, you can hear me, and your dad, if he's listening to us up in Pittsburgh. The reason why your dad is still here is because the Christ Spirit has not decided that he was finished inside of his body. When the time comes, your daddy will wake up, come out of his body, and that was promised to him that he will walk again will be seen and witnessed. When your daddy leave his body, he will be able to turn around unless the angels take him away or your mother or his wife, the mother of all of you, come and get him and swiftly move him away from that bed that he's in now. I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you about what I read. I'm not telling you about people preaching to me. I want to go to a church this morning here in Kernersville, but I hesitate because when I get there, I know what I'm going to see. I know what I'm going to hear. And I haven't braced myself long enough to be willing to go there and take it. But your dad, Leslie, is still in that body because the Christ self, the eternal self that cannot be sick, cannot die, is experiencing everything that your dad's body is going through. And he is on a call to stay in that body until the final moment. If your dad is listening to me, I want to say this to him directly. Thank you for the love gifts that you sent through your daughters to help keep us going. You've done marvelous beyond words. You have talked to Leslie and you have helped her to send us something. I know you have, and all the rest of you. I'm asking you at this moment, don't stop because we need that assistance in order to stay online and to keep our house. It is appreciated beyond words. Gratitude I leave with you. When I get through saying this, I'm going to rest my case. And now at this point, I rest my case. That's it. And I want to thank you again. Okay. I'm through. Okay. You got anything to say?
I was just waiting to see what you.
I'm through. I'm through. Thank you for tuning in with us today. Okay.
And I want to thank all of the rest of you who've been giving as well.
The rest of you have.
And it has been greatly appreciated.
Yep. Beyond words.
Right. But I don't want to end with you thinking and feeling sorry for us about we're in a bad shape. I want to end this with you understanding that when we come to you with this truth, we do it knowing that it's controversial.
Yeah.
And we need the support of you. But at the same time, we're going to all be okay, even though all of this is happening. We're going to all be okay. And I want you to remember, as we typed it in, don't be a Christian, be Christ. Don't be a Christian, be Christ. And I don't know what else to say. My husband's pretty much said what he wanted to say, and I don't know what else to say behind that. But if you would like to give, I'll put that on the screen for you.
There is no such thing as ceasing to exist outside of the body. You got our love, Leslie, and the rest of you online, Jacqueline, Sister Williams, Robert, all of you guys. I thank you from the depths of the Christ heart that I have seen and witnessed. And I love you with that heart. I have no choice but to go to the heart and say this. If you go to your heart, you will automatically see all the fruits of the Spirit that is in every man. Mm-hmm. Every man, Robert, every man has the same salvation in him, but he's not conscious of it. Thank you again. Mm-hmm. Sylvia, she said, but she say something.
Sylvia said, thanks for bringing the light. And you know, Sylvia, thank you. And I remember there was a place in the Bible where Paul said to them to pray for him that he'd be able to expound this truth and that doors would be open for him to be able to do it. And so I'm asking that you guys be able to that you would put some effort and intent behind praying for us, because I know that what we're bringing to you guys is not a light matter.
No, it's not.
It's not a light matter. We don't take it lightly. We know that it may shake some people, but we're being shaken. We're being shaken at our core with all of this truth that has been discovered and we're coming into the light of in our latter years, as I said.
Yes, and I'll say this a little bit. I hope we can stay on, but if there's somebody out there that wants to take us off of our class, I caution you, don't do it, because what you do to me will be taken out of you.
Did you realize it's AI now?
You
realize it's AI that will take you off.
It's AI, and if it's AI, they who are in AI will suffer the consequences of something that was no harm done, but because you are possessed by a principality over your head and government, you do this. I am saying directly to you, leave it alone. And if you don't, it will get you coming in the back door. Thank you.
You're still talking to AI like it's a person.
I
It's
know,
not a
I know,
person,
I
darling.
know, I
It's
know.
not. It's not a person. But
Okay.
we love you. We'll be back on Tuesday night at 7. And hopefully Pastor Norman will be able to be with us. I think he was on with us this morning. If you're still with us, Pastor Norman, and you hear me, give me a thumbs up if you're going to be with us on Tuesday night. We've had a good conversation last time, and hope to have another one this Tuesday. He's talking to baby girl already. But we'll see you again Tuesday night.
All right.
Be blessed. Have a blessed Sunday.
Stop
All right?
being a Christian and be a Christ.
Yes.
See you on the turnaround.
See you on the turnaround. Bye.